some good news today. Yes, that is what I say. Give me some good news today. That is what I say. I want a day when nobody did hurt nobody and nobody did shit nobody and nobody didn't hurt nobody, no. Nobody didn't lie, kidnap, murder, rape, mama guy, nobody and nobody had to cry, nobody, no. I want some good news today.
We are on our way to the temple in the sea, the only one of its kind in the Western Hemisphere. And it's a very intriguing story about the gentleman who built that temple. And his name was Sudas Sadhu. We'll talk about it further when we get there.
Welcome to another episode of Real Life with Nicole, the Love Your Country series. I'm Nicole, and in this week's episode, we'll be exploring a few of our heritage sites, including the site we're at right now with the Temple on the Sea, the Hanuman Murti, and the National Indian Heritage Museum. I'm dressed today in Sean Griffith Perez because as a part of the Love Your Country series, it's important that we also love some of our local designers. So to my designer, thank you so very much for outfitting me in this beautiful kaftan. So come join me as we continue to explore a beautiful Trinidad and Tobago on Real Life with Nicole, the Love Your Country edition.
Yes, that is what I say. Give me some good news today. That is what I say. I want a day when nobody didn't kill nobody and nobody didn't shoot nobody and nobody didn't hurt nobody, no. Good news today. Yes, that is what I say. Give me some good news today. That is what I say. I want a day when nobody didn't kill nobody and nobody didn't shoot nobody and nobody didn't hurt nobody, no. Nobody didn't lie, kidnap, murder, rape, mama guy, nobody and nobody had to cry, nobody.
I'm here with Yvette Adams, tour guide for Enjoy Tours, who'll take us through a tour of the Sudat Sadhu Memorial as well as the Temple on the Sea. Miss Adams.
This statue is a statue of no ordinary man, a very extraordinary man, one that we should look up to, a man who had the courage of his conviction. He was born 1st of January, my birthday, 1903, not the same year though, and he came to Trinidad as an indentured laborer with his parents when he was 4 years old. They were assigned to sugar estate at the time, and later on, after his parents died and he served his time, his indentureship was over, he went to India on one of his trips. Coming back, it was a very rough and traumatic trip for him, and having survived, when he came back to Trinidad, he decided that he's going to build a temple, a Hindu temple known as a mandir. Now he started building it on this site here, which was a sugarcane estate at the time, and later on, bearing in mind that in those days the Hindu religion was not recognized as a religion, he was told that he had to demolish his mandir. He refused, so he was jailed. While he was in jail, they demolished it for him. When he came out, he decided that he was going to build his mandir in the sea, no man's land. And there he started. And he spent a period of over 17 years riding a little bicycle, the villagers laughing at him because it was a lady's bicycle, carrying 2 buckets of cement on the handlebars. But he plodded on every day. He started doing the piling with some old oil drums, and he would fill it up with the cement until he got a platform. Unfortunately, poor Sudas didn't quite complete his temple in the sea to his perfection. But later on, the government of the day, Trinidad and Tobago, in 1995, they completed it for him. And here at the statue, it was unveiled by our president at the time, Mr. Noor Hassan Ali. Now, Mr. Noor Hassan Ali, incidentally, was a Muslim. And only in Trinidad that could happen, where a Muslim is paying tribute to a Hindu. We take that for granted, but we shouldn't. Trinidad and Tobago being a very, very novel island, and we can be an example for the world. We'll go on further, Nicole, and I'll show you the finished product and more of the story of Sudas Sadhu.
Okay, let's go.
This roof was the original roof on Sudas's mandir, but unfortunately it is painted, so we cannot see the original material that was used to make the roof. Inside is housed the murti of Lord Shiva. And you're probably wondering why he's looking blue and why he has a cobra around his neck. Well, there was an attempt to poison him, and the cobra wrapped around his neck and stopped the poison from going any further. And he was saved. So hence the blue, sort of on the border of asphyxiation. So this entity, people will pray to Lord Shiva if they're sick and they need to be recovered, or they have health issues or anything like that. Pray to Lord Shiva and he would take care of their health. So he's sort of in charge of health, one of his portfolios. There are many. To the right, our right, his left, is a stone called a lingnam. If you look at his right palm, you will see a trident that represents the Trinity. So we'll go on further. There's a lot more to tell.
Yvette, we saw a cremation taking place as we were coming into the actual temple and the sea. Could you share with us a little bit about the location of that cremation site vis-a-vis this temple?
Yes, it's right next door to the temple in the sea, Waterloo. And you would have observed that a pyre is built with wood, and there's a space in the middle of that wood where the body is placed. It takes a while to cremate the body, and the family will collect the ashes later time. But it's a very sacred site, as you can observe. This custom dates back to India. This is what the East Indian indentured laborers remember. It is very important that they cremate.
It's one of the things that was brought from India to
Yes.
Trinidad during the period of indentureship. Yeah. Okay,
So yeah, in their little jihadi bundle, they brought seeds and plants and their religious implements, and they also brought their customs. And one of the customs is cremating the dead.
So Yvette, now that we're sitting here at the actual Temple of the Sea, tell us a little bit more about this heritage site.
It is a religious heritage site, and we must make that clear, because if we don't say that, then people will think it's something else and come and picnic and throw garbage around, and what the religion will think is desecrating the property. But Sira Sadhu symbolizes someone who had the courage of his conviction. He believed so much in his religion that he stopped at nothing in order to put his mandir up so that he could worship the way he wanted to. If you sit in the middle, you realize how peaceful it is, how quiet, how calm. If you sit in the middle and you listen, you can actually hear the vibration of the universe flowing through the doorways, through the openings. It is absolutely an experience. Inside of the temple, there are what they call murtis, and the murtis represent various deities that the Hindus pay homage to. And as you remember, inside we saw Hanuman, who was a sign of courage and education and fortitude and justice. And then we had Shiva that we saw outside, who is in charge of health. We saw Mother Saraswati, and then we saw Krishna. Those are the ones that we saw in the temple today, but there are many, many others, and they all have a part to play. And it is very important that we here in Trinidad and Tobago recognize heritage sites, and not just heritage sites, but religious heritage sites, because this is a very, very unique place. This is, I believe, one of the only places in the world where you have so many religions and so many people accepting other people's religions and having the respect for it. I always say that is why we are rewarded with so many holidays because everybody gets a holiday, and not only is there a holiday, but everybody takes part, whether
Tell me
it's their
something.
religion or not.
Tell me something, Yvette. How does someone go about visiting? Anybody, just, who would like to come and have a look at the Temple on the Sea? What do you have to do?
Well, what you have to do is you have to contact either the Ministry of Tourism, the TDC, or a tour operator, or you can call them directly. We have some numbers here, and the numbers are 681-4435, 682-1630, or 679-5927. There is also an email. It's templeinthesea, all lowercase, at hotmail.com. Just to make sure that the gates are open and you are welcome and so on.
Okay, good. For those of you who are interested in visiting the Temple in the Sea and the Ciudad Heritage Site, you can also find yourself interacting with the Tour Operators Association of Trinidad and Tobago. This has been a fantastic experience of looking at the religious heritage sites, one of the religious heritage sites in Trinidad, and I look forward to welcoming you down at the Temple of the Sea. Stay with us as we continue with the Hanuman Murti and the National Indian Religious Museum.
Some good news today. That is what I say. I want a day